Hey, howdy do? Welcome back to Ultra Chen TV. We have this special episode tonight. Usually we're on Monday and Tuesday nights at 8 p.m. Pacific, but as you can see, it is now 10:30 Pacific and Wednesday night. And the reason that we're doing this is that this weekend is going to be MLG, Major League Gaming. It's going to be in Anaheim, California. I'll be there to play this game that we're now going to be talking about.
Yep.
Yeah. We're going to be talking now about King of Fighters. We just want to help you understand King of Fighters so that when you're watching, you can appreciate a little bit more what's going on. This is a go into the game footage, please.
Oh yeah, that's right.
This is a very different game, and it's actually good that these three games are really different.
Yeah, and we're not going to see this because every fighting game always has a training mode, so you're not even going to be able to see the team dynamics unless we go to versus mode.
Let's go to versus mode. That's fine.
Okay.
So King of Fighters is a very, very long time series, having started in like 94. Yeah.
First one was King of Fighters 94.
Right.
It's literally called King of Fighters 94.
That was a while ago, and ever since then, in most years, there have been new King of Fighters, and this is the 13th one.
Okay, let's back up. Let me go to first player side just so we're sitting on the correct side.
Oh yeah, that's right. That freaks you out.
Yeah. But yeah, keep going.
Okay, it's a team-based game. That is to say, you pick 3 different characters, and each time a character dies,
you jump to the next character.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. So it's not like in the other games where it's a 2 out of 3 between just one character versus another character, or like in Soul Calibur, which is 3 out of 5. In this one, just pick your team.
Sure.
Make sure I get all the red colors. Yeah.
That's funny because I do blue.
Oh, do you have? You probably don't have this, dude. Okay.
Yeah, I don't have them yet.
No DLC.
Yeah.
All right, that's fine. I'll just stick with Takuma. Let's see. I like this one. Anyways, so it's a team-based game, and like we were saying, when one character dies, the next one on your team comes in until all 3 of them are done.
The interesting thing about this game, though, is that most of the time when you play these fighting games, when a character loses and you start the next round, you both come in with full health again.
Right.
But in this game, when a character is defeated, the winning character will gain a small chunk of their life back, depending on how much time left is on the clock. And then after they get that life, but they don't get all their health back. So essentially, after you win one round, you're kind of already at a disadvantage unless you destroy the opponent.
Right.
You know?
So it's a 2D game, as you can see. That means that the up and down is very important. The side to side is very important, and it's a very offensive game. It's all about not necessarily being in your face, but always maintaining some kind of pressure.
Right.
So we talked about in Mortal Kombat how some characters want to zone the opponent out using these fireballs and that kind of thing. In this game, only a couple of characters can really do that. Everybody else wants to be doing something active in some kind of way, whether it's actually like really, really close in your face, you know, doing stuff like this, or being at a certain range and kind of caging in the opponent at certain spots. It's a very active game, and you're going to see a lot of people running around. You see a lot of this.
Basically,
yeah, totally.
you know,
It's going to be a really fast-paced game, and it's fun to watch. And you will also see. Let's talk about the jumping system in this game, because it's not like.
Yeah. So the thing that makes this game so offensive is that in a lot of fighting games, jumping is not necessarily the greatest idea. Like in Street Fighter, it's really bad. And that's because you only have one distance of jump, one angle of jump, right? So if I jump with Benimaru here, he's only going to jump that certain distance.
Right, and if I know, well, we just timed out, so the next character comes in for whoever lost. If I know that you're going to be jumping to a certain spot on screen, then I'll just get there, and I'll just be like, boink.
Yeah.
Because that's all you can do. Like, what are you going to do about this? Like, you're not going to... You have to be at the spot where you're going to end up, because you only have one... Once you start moving in the air, you can't do anything about your trajectory, for the most part. No, but that's not really the case in this game.
Yeah, the tricky thing about this game is I have this regular jump, I have a much higher jump, you can see all of a sudden I'm right next to him. I've got a much shorter jump, which goes very short, and then I have a very far but low jump. And so what happens is I can see, normally if I jump, if I kick at the height of my jump, you see I can't hit him. But if I do this quick low jump, I can kick them really early. So the offense becomes very fierce here. So we end up with situations where I could... Oh, yeah, and we should talk about that, too. We talked the last 2 games that we played, we had guard buttons. And so, watch. In this game, you have to hold back. So just keep walking backwards. And that's how you block. But now the crazy thing about this game is that I can actually get you to block the wrong direction like that.
Right, so I'm holding the same direction, and I'm getting blown up for it.
Right.
Because that's how it works, and that's a very important part of this game. You have to correctly hold the joystick to guard based on where the opponent actually is. If he's on the other side of you, then you have to switch your stick to that side to make sure that you're blocking against him. Always against where the opponent's character actually is. And that allows you to set up a lot of really, really tricky mix-ups. But it's not just the up-close mix-ups, sorry, the side-to-side mix-ups with cross-ups. Well, he doesn't really have a great one. But it's also stuff like, I guess he doesn't really have, yeah. It's also stuff like the ability to go high, low, you know, so low, or some characters have command grabs, which are really, really big in this game.
Oops.
Yeah. Right. Or like...
Does Shine have one?
Yes, he does.
Oh, nice. Okay.
And that's going to be huge, so you're going to see that a lot. A lot of other characters have the ability to make it so that if you're crouch blocking and they're standing right next to you, they can still hit you high.
Kill Benimaru.
Overhead.
Yuri has one, so we can share that with Yuri.
Okay, cool. And if you're wondering about the art style, it's actually 3D models that they then drew 2D sprites on top of.
Yeah, it's really cool.
I think it's really pretty, yeah.
So low block?
Yeah, low block.
So she has this attack where she hits you with her ass, right?
The butt.
Yeah, but see, you cannot low block that.
Whereas if I were to do it high, block it high, or get sorry. Yeah, then there I go. Right. So there's a very strong sense of mix-ups in this game. And whether it's from cross-ups, or from grabs, or from the high or low, it can be really difficult to get out. But you do have tools to escape things in this game. So your movement options are not here. You have walk, you have run forward, you have backdash, but you also have roll or back roll. Roll being invincible to hits, but definitely throwable.
But watch, try it. Yeah, so if he rolls, see how it just kind of goes right through. And you can end up on the other side of them, so they could be blocking the wrong way. So if you distance the roll just right, and it's really ambiguous which side he's going to roll, end up on, you can catch them by surprise that way.
Right, exactly.
And get him with the combo.
So, come on, James. You also have a tool called CD, or blowback. That's where you press, so the buttons are A, B, C, D. It's light punch, light kick, hard kick, or hard punch, hard kick. So if you do the 2 hard buttons, you'll have this thing that knocks down. It's also in the air, and it also knocks down there. But if you, so hit me.
We're out of time.
We're out of time.
Yeah. So we're, doing that attack is also known as the Crazy Dominican. No, I'm kidding.
I don't even know where you're going now.
It's CD, right?
Oh my god.
CD.
Yeah.
So dude, we've had CD and everything. So.
It's basically a way to get the opponent off of you. It costs 1 bar of your meter. You have up to 5 bars.
Wait, the CD attack doesn't cost.
As blowback.
It doesn't cost a bar.
Yeah.
It does?
Yeah. Yeah, it does.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
No, because I'm doing it right now.
No, only does it cost a bar if here. So I'm gonna touch you, and then you try to do it. Well, you gotta block.
Oh, you're talking about the alpha counter.
Yeah, it's called blowback.
Okay, gotcha. I thought you were just talking about CD. Sorry.
No.
Okay, my bad.
So you have to spend the meter to move the opponent off of you.
Let's get the meter here.
Yeah, get some meter. All right, now do this.
Right.
All right, so there it is. All right, we're in agreement.
Sorry.
Let's see. You can also here. I'm gonna build up some meter. Okay, now you do it to me. Just hit me with something. I can also roll away at the expense of a bar, or I can roll toward.
You can roll forward too, and that's actually really important because some moves we talked about having lag, that negative frame advantage kind of situation. If a move is really slow, you can actually roll through it. So watch, block the second hit and roll through it here.
Actually, I don't have meter. Obviously, this is one of the ways to build meters.
Yes.
All right, so
block the second hit,
yeah.
and then do it. And see how much delay I had after that, so then he could just punish me for free.
Exactly. So you have all those options. You have a lot of defensive options in this game, but you also have a lot of offensive options. And that results in this game that is very, very fast-paced and very much about trying to pressure your opponent constantly.
Overwhelm them.
To overwhelm them and to deal as much damage as you can in the process. Let's see, there's also the mechanic of... your first character can build 3 bars, as you can see down there at the bottom of the screen.
It says 0 and 2 for my character.
Right. But your second character can build up 4 bars, and your last character can build up 5 bars. And that's very useful in this game, because the more meter you have, the more damaging you are. In fact, every single character in this game has a 100% damage combo if they use enough meter.
Yeah.
It's not that you always see it, or even very commonly at all. It mostly happens with just a few of the characters.
And you'll also see a lot of people try it and fail, because it's very hard to do a lot of these
That's
combos.
true, although definitely some of the best players in the world are showing up to this thing. So we're gonna see some good stuff. But then in addition to the regular meter, you also have the thing on top of it. You can see right there, a little green dealie. That allows you to cancel certain special moves directly into other special moves. Maxima doesn't really do that super. Here, wait.
Oh, go ahead.
You here? Ah. Right. So when it said drive cancel, what I did was I canceled the follow up to my command grab into another. Yeah. So there you go.
So I did this move right here, and then I canceled it into that move. They're actually 2 separate moves.
And that allows you to do really big damage combos because it keeps the opponent juggled. That is to say, hit consistently into the air without being able to escape in a long combo. And if you get enough of that meter down there, if you get both of them filled up, you can see that there are 2. That allows you to activate what's called HD mode. And in HD mode, you can do as many of those cancels as you want, as long as the bar is still there.
It'll drain the bar a little bit as you do it, but you can just keep doing a bunch of them. So basically, it allows you to string together this really long combo that you aren't able to do. However, when you activate it, the meter just keeps draining, and then as soon as it finishes draining, you run out of it. So your whole meter's gone, so you're really trying to use it and throw all your eggs in one basket, essentially. Now, we talked about this concept of combos. The nice thing about this HD mode that you can do is that you can actually combo into HD combos, which is really huge in this game. So for example, if I'm Yuri here, I can actually, normally I can hit, this hard punch button, and maybe I can cancel it into a fireball or something like that. But in this game, you can actually cancel into, an HD attack, and then once you get that, then you can start doing really long combos. Like that, for example, right? So you can get these longer combos going.
Yeah.
And I don't know. Do you want to talk about Neomax already right now, or
sure. So this game has a lot of different supers. We've been talking about supers all night, and in this game, you have level 1 supers, level 2 supers, and then level 3 supers.
Right.
And they each do different things, of course. Some of them, for example, some supers that are level 1 or level 2 can be very similar looking but have different properties. Like level 2 can start up much faster or deal more damage. Or then you have the level 3 supers.
So let me show a level 1 super right here. So this is a level 1 super with Yuri, for example. Oops. Why is this not coming out? Am I doing there it is. That's the code. Okay. So there it is right there. 13 hits, and it cost me 1 bar.
Right.
Some supers have the ability to enhance so that it takes
like this
2
one.
meters. Right. So now it's at... Oops.
Oh, sorry.
Well, now I ran out of meters. So
like
that one right there. And I just killed her.
And
tore off her shirt. God,
that's right, dude. That's what Shen does.
Yeah.
That's Shen.
And then, of course, there's the level 3s, which are called Neomaxes.
Yeah.
And they usually entail some crazy animation that and just does a ton of damage, and it costs 3 bars.
Right, and the only way that you can cancel, or so something you can do is to cancel one super into a Neomax. And the way that you do that is if you're in HD mode, you can just do a super and then cancel that super. That is to say, cut off the first super before it ends and continue the combo with your Neomax. And that's in some cases super damaging. And like I said, every character in the game has a 100% damage combo, and characters like Shen have legit practical combos that deal 80-90% damage, or 100% even, using the ability to do these HD combos with Neomaxes involved.
And one of the things that makes, we talked about how the third character right now, if I kept going, I could build up to 5 meters, right?
Yeah.
So the thing that makes this really powerful is that we said Neomaxes take 3 meters. In HD combos, they only take 2 meters. And so you can do this HD combo where you can hit him into a level 1 super, hit him into another level 1 super, hit him, and then all of a sudden do a Neomax, and that only costs you 4 meters. And you can do that whole thing because the last few characters can build up to more supers.
So it's an extremely damaging game. The consequence for making a mistake is, in many cases, losing your character entirely. We didn't talk about guard bar. It's if you recall, in Soul Calibur there was this guard bar thing. Oh, okay.
Right.
Which just meant that you can only block so many times before you can't block. And when you can't block, the opponent is going to punish you big time with whatever his big combo is. So it's a very dangerous game because if you're making mistakes, you are just going to get steamrolled with really damaging things, with really strong mix-ups, and with just very, very fast things that are hard to react to.
Yeah, and one other thing that I really want to mention, we talked about in Mortal Kombat. This is not as much of a case in Soul Calibur, but in Mortal Kombat and this game, meter management is huge. So we talked about the meter will transfer over from your first character to your second character, right? And as you go, you can build up more meter. So if you keep doing this and you save your meter for the last character and he has 5 bars and that whole HD meter, you can wipe out entire teams very quickly. So there's this idea that, do I want to really use this EX move, for example, or level 1 super, which will get me this damage, or utility, or do I want to go ahead and sacrifice this character, save it for the next character so I can do something more damaging? And then of course later characters get more meter, and so King of Fighters is another game. Like I said, in many fighting games, the super meter is almost more important.
Can be very important
than the life bars, and this is just another example of that. And when it even gets to the last round, sometimes, sorry, I didn't.
Oh no, go ahead.
No, sometimes when you get to the last round, you'll see some character with this much life left, and the opponent has all their life, and you're like, oh well, there's no way he can come back. But you look down, and he has 5 super meters and a full green bar. Any touch, he could kill him, especially with characters like Shen. So, again, looking at the life bar is not the only thing you should be looking at in fighting games. You have to be paying attention to everything that you got, especially those super meters.
Exactly, and this importance on meter makes it so that in team building, you have to really pay attention to which characters use meter in which ways. So the team that I'm using in this game is Maxima. And then you don't have this guy, but Mr. Karate, who is on the same character select location as Takuma, but he's a downloadable character. And then Shen. And the reason is that Maxima is a very strong and damaging character without needing to use any meter.
Yeah, he's like Astaroth,
showing in the he's very much a grappler and just a very strong character. But he doesn't really need to use meter very often. So instead, with Maxima, I'm using him for what's called a battery. That is a character that builds up and stores super meter. Because I know that when it comes to Mr. Karate, I can end a character's life if I have just a few bars. And then when it gets to Shen, it's the same way. And so I'm trying to design my team in a way that will, A, deal with matchups, like we've been talking about matchups all this time, and B, allocates usage of super meter in an intelligent way.
Yeah, and that comes into play when you pick a team. Certain characters are more meter hungry to be effective than others. If you create a team of 3 characters that are all meter hungry, you are going to have a very hard time making those critical comebacks, And so you do want to construct teams very carefully that way with that kind of stuff in mind, having characters build meters, who spends meter, what order to put them in and such.
Exactly. So let's talk a little bit about who we're going to see in King of Fighters. So one thing about King of Fighters to know is that it's basically the soccer of fighting games.
Yes.
Super popular everywhere in the world. not historically popular in North America.
Yep.
Only recently, and just basically with King of Fighters 13 in the last several months, has it really become a big deal here.
Right.
But there have been a few guys who have really been grinding on King of Fighters forever. And some of them are SoCal natives, and some of them have come from elsewhere to now live in Southern California.
Right.
But Southern California is the place to be for the strongest King of Fighters players. So that's one reason why I'm really looking forward to King of Fighters at MLG, because I expect that the level of competition will be really, really strong.
Right.
So we're going to be looking out for, in particular, a guy whose name is Bala.
Yep. Bala. Bala. Yeah.
Very, very strong character or player. Maybe the best in the world. That's really hard to know because there are really strong players in China and in East Asia in general that we really haven't seen him play against. So hard to know, but certainly one of the strongest players. A guy who can use a bunch of different characters really, really well. He's known for
ridiculous in this game.
You know, he can use a bunch of different characters. We've seen it a lot. He really likes Yori, so you might see him use Yori. But it really depends on individual character matchups and who he's playing against. He's the strongest guy that's going to be at this tournament. Yeah. So
he's odds-on favorite.
I would think so.
He is the odds-on favorite to win.
And,
you know, the interesting thing is, you know, we've had all these King of Fighters tournament, but like you said, we haven't mixed all of the different regions yet. Like Shadowloo Showdown, we got to see Xiaohai from China, and we got to see Tokido play, which is why I'm super excited that Tokido's coming out here, because now we may get a Tokido-Bala matchup and see how those two regions match up.
I like Bala all day.
Yeah. I mean, I do too, but, you know, it's just going to be so cool to watch, because it's going to be the first time it's going to be that clash between SoCal.
That will be cool to see.
And Japan.
That will definitely be cool to see. Yeah. So Tokido, another player who's going to show up here. But to continue on with the Southern California guys, there are basically 4 people who everybody expects to make top 4. Right. There are 2 or 3 other people who can really reasonably get like in there as well. But it's really like between Bala, who we mentioned already, also Reynold. Also, Mr. KOF.
Can't imagine that he plays this game.
I know, yeah. With a name like Mr. KOF, who would have thought? And then also Romance, VVE Romance.
Yep.
Yeah. Those are really the guys who are. If I had to pick a 1 through 4, I'm not sure which order I would go in, but that's really the top 4. I would have probably Bala at number 1, and then those guys, depending on the day and the matchup.
Obviously, at the run back, which is tomorrow.
Yes.
But at the run back, we've been playing a lot of King of Fighters for the past few weeks, and Bala has won the majority of them, but he has lost to Mr. KOF and Reynold, you know, like once or twice.
Yeah,
so,
he's not unbeatable. Yeah, no, I don't want to give that impression.
Yeah, but let's hope that, I suspect that with this MLG, with this big of a stakes, that Bala's just going to turn it on. And
we'll see. I mean, hopefully. Also, look out for the Beast, who's another really, really strong player. He can do really well himself. And then actually Kenso is coming from Texas.
Oh really?
Yeah, he is.
Nice,
yeah.
Nice.
So that'll be cool. He's a really strong player.
He's been a strong player forever. He was really good at King of Fighters. He was good at so many games, but he very rarely left Texas.
Yes.
So you know, people did not know about him, and people still don't know about him. And you know, he is seriously one of the most talented players in the country that nobody. He might be one of the top 3 talented players that nobody's heard of.
He's a really, really strong player, and definitely cannot sleep on him at all. He'll be coming from Texas. The other guys I mentioned are all Southern California. Some of them not natively. For example, Bala.
No, I was just going to say there's another really terrifying SoCal player that's going to be in the tournament.
Oh, who's that?
Empire Kerrigan's.
I don't know who that is.
I think that player. That's a player you're going to have to watch out.
So I started playing King of Fighters approximately a week ago, and you know, I've been messing around on it for longer than that. But I tried to take it seriously starting about a week ago because I wanted to make that paper in MLG, and it's probably not going to happen because unfortunately this week has been E3, and us doing this, and also I just have work in general, so it's just been like the worst timing, dude, for MLG.
Nah, man.
If MLG was like the next weekend, I'd be like, yeah, I got all week. This is going to be all KOF, but unfortunately it's been like real life. So
I think you probably have the best chance of taking Bala down. Watch this guy. He is going to be the most important player.
I don't even want to. That sounds awful. That's going to be really. Thanks for setting me up, James.
Yeah, no
I
problem.
appreciate it. I really
problem.
appreciate that. No, it'll be gross. It'll be ugly. So as far as the characters to look out for, it's a 3 character per team game. So it's not like in other games where you're just going to see one character each. So you're going to see a lot of different variety as a result. And it's also a fairly well-balanced game.
Yes.
Which means that you can pretty much pick which character you like and run with that character and expect to have a reasonable chance of winning things. Yeah, there are some fighting games where the characters that are weaker, if you want to win tournaments, you just can't bother with because they're just not good enough. But in this game, most characters are tournament viable, what we say. Yeah. Enough to really be picked, and you might see them.
Yeah. I mean, like, for a great character example is Ash. A lot of people say that he's not the greatest of characters. Mr. KOF, amazing with Ash.
Exactly.
He makes Ash just look unstoppable.
Exactly.
It's pretty ridiculous.
So he's known for Ash. Expect to see that. Also Romance has a great psyche, and we talked about Bala, who's the ability to... Actually, all these guys have the ability to use a lot of different characters.
Reynolds is really good at Leona, who's supposedly a bad character.
But he has a great Mr. Karate, and he is a big reason why people think that Karate is one of the best characters in the game right now, because he did a lot of the early work on that character. He also has a really good Kim. The Beast has a great K-Dash. Great name. I always love that name.
K-Dash?
Yeah. And then... Trophy Club is going to be using a character that's very, very rare. So Chin is a really unusual character in this game.
He's like the shenanigans character.
He's sort of shenanigansy. He's sort of like Gen from Street Fighter in that he has stances and you have to be stance canceling all the time to do big damage with him. It's hard to play and you don't see him very often, so you might be able to see him from there. So, but like we were saying, these guys have a lot of different characters, and you might see literally, I mean, for real, Clark, Ralph, and,
Kenso,
Athena, Maxima is going to be in there for sure, K-Dash, Yuri.
Yeah.
We can basically go down the line. And you can reasonably expect to see it, so it'll be really, really cool to see. As far as the very strongest, I mean, you're going to see a lot of people with this dude hanging out at the back because he has really simple, damaging combos that can end the character's life pretty quickly.
Mr. Karate's good.
Yeah, Mr. Karate, who is not on James's machine. But
EX Iori and EX Kyo, who are both also not on my machine, are very, very good characters. Yeah. Also, there was another character that I was going to mention that's really good.
I don't know. Oh, you just said Kyo. Regular Kyo is actually really, really good too. Anyway, you're just going to see a lot of different characters in this game, and there are too many characters to go through what all of them do, unfortunately. I'd love to just sit here and rattle on about KOF because it's really fun. But unfortunately don't have time.
Right.
So now that we've talked about King of Fighters and Soul Calibur and Mortal Kombat, I want to close by kind of talking about the fighting game community and players in general.
Right.
And if you're not familiar with them, what you can expect to see at MLG out of us.
Right.
Like we were talking about earlier, it can be a very intense group of people, very, very loud and in your face, and really fun to be around. There's going to be a lot of side betting on things. Yeah. There's going to be a lot of cheering and also a lot of jeering.
Yes.
A lot of jeering, and everybody's very open and willing to meet people and friendly and stuff like that. So if you're not familiar with fighting game players and you see us at MLG, please come up and say hello, and I'm sure that we'll be willing to talk. But it's going to be really, really cool to go in there and interact with MLG in a way that we, obviously this is not the first time that fighting games have been in MLG, but it's going to be a great example of seeing how the cultures do when they're faced with each other and how they can get along, or how, we'll see what happens, I guess.
Right. I mean, one of the things that I always like to say is, I think it was Richard Lee and Chris Seglia from NorCal. They like to put together these little montage videos and stuff. And there's a reason why whenever you watch his montage videos, you will almost never see game footage.
That's true.
It's always montage of just people like, because it's fighting games. The thing about it is, it's adrenaline. It's adrenaline. It's adrenaline. And so when you're playing, when you're watching, it just builds up. And when stuff happens, there's this emotional release.
It's just that they're very fast. And so as you're making all these very fast-paced strategic decisions and tactical choices, at almost any point can be this major turning point. And if you're familiar with fighting games, you can identify those, and we've tried to make it so that you have at least some of the basic tools to identify those. And whenever that happens, you're going to see people go totally nuts.
Yeah. And you know, that's also one thing that's great about the fighting game, is that comebacks happen all the time.
Yeah.
You can never count anyone out. You've just seen some of the most ridiculous comebacks in this game.
Yeah.
And you know, that's one of the driving forces of fighting games. Like, you'll see someone get dominated and have this little chunk of life left, and then all of a sudden they just start climbing, and the other player just gets nervous, and the audience is like, oh my god, you know, can he do this? Can he do this? And then it happens, and that kind of explains the Daigo parry video when it happened. I'm sure most people have seen that video.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of people who don't necessarily know much about fighting games have seen this moment from Evolution, the major tournament. I think that was 2004.
Yeah.
And it was this player, Daigo Umehara from Japan, known as one of the best players of all time, against Justin Wong, an American player also known as one of the best players of all time. And there was this moment where he makes this gigantic comeback by Justin doing a random super that everybody knew was coming. Terrible choice by Justin, but it was an awful choice by Justin.
Yeah.
It was a terrible choice. And Daigo has the ability to neutralize each one of these attacks.
Some really ridiculously high execution thing that he deflects the whole thing and just destroys Justin, and you see the audience go nuts.
Yeah.
And that's one of the reasons. One, because of the execution required to do it, and two, just because it was a comeback, and it was so intense.
Yeah, it can be really intense, and I hope that you'll be willing to take some time during MLG to watch the fighting game streams, or if you're there, to go over to the fighting game side and see what's going on, because especially towards finals, man, we're going to have some really, really strong stuff in each one of these games. I mean, some of the very, very best players for Mortal Kombat are coming out. Some of the very best players for Soul Calibur are coming out. And some of the best players as well in King of Fighters are going to be there. So we're going to see some really, really high-level stuff. There's going to be very interesting strategic and tactical battles happening, and really, really hype, interesting, exciting moments that I know I'm going to be having a great time watching.
Yeah, so even if you're not there, and you know, you're going to be watching MLG largely for StarCraft, right? You know, take the time, peek over to the fighting game streams in between some of the StarCraft matches.
Yeah, or LOL, or, you know, if you're watching that.
Yeah, and then check out the fighting game stuff, because, you know, this stuff is going to, you know, fighting games are exciting, and they're great to watch, and you know, the more you understand of them, the more exciting they're going to be. Of course, it's all going to culminate into EVO later this year.
Yeah, if you enjoy watching at MLG, please stick around for our upcoming majors, because we actually have two of the biggest ones coming up in just the next several weeks. In the week after MLG is going to be CEO, a major tournament in Orlando, Florida, that's going to have I don't know, like 1,000 people or something. That's going to be crazy.
Daigo's there, so
it's going to be basically a lot. Everybody from North America is going to be there. We're going to have people from Asia as well, like Daigo Umehara, who we were just talking about. Going to be some great stuff. And then 2 weeks after that, is going to be Evolution 2012. Evolution is the biggest fighting game tournament in the world, and just the biggest open video game tournament in the world in general. I don't know how many people will be there this year, but there were like 3,000 competitors last time.
Well, I mean, we're at a point right now where we had to limit the number of people with spectator passes due to fire rules, you know.
Yeah, so it's sort of a thing in fighting games that we don't limit entrances for games. We try to make it so that if you want to play, you can play. You're in the bracket. Everybody gets a chance. And I mean, the last couple of years at EVO, we've seen tournaments that have had up, nearly 2,000 people per game.
Yeah.
And at some point of that increasing, like you said, you run into fire code.
Yeah.
So you run out of space, physical space. And so this year it is going to be capped, but it's going to be really cool to watch.
I want to remind everyone too that, you know, this weekend also, along with MLG, is East Coast Throwdown.
East Coast Throwdown.
So, if you can, please tune into that. A lot of strong East Coast players are going to be at this tournament, playing at that tournament. In fact, isn't Justin going out there?
Yeah,
Justin Wong is going out to that tournament to play at
right.
ECT. There's even going to be this really huge grudge match coming up between Fnatic and Ray Ray. If you guys follow the fighting game scene, one of the things about fighting games that's very well known for is people calling each other out.
Yeah.
And then it culminates into like the biggest grudge matches.
Money matches, and that is to say you put up some dollars, you put money where your mouth is.
Yep.
And you basically bet it that you're going to beat the other guy.
Yeah. So
and is it going to be first to 10?
I'm not.
Do you know?
It might be first to 15.
Oh, really?
Yeah. But
okay.
It's West Coast, East Coast. Ray Ray from East Coast, Fnatic from West Coast. Both Magneto players in Ultimate Marvel vs. Capcom 3.
Yes.
Going to challenge each other to see who will come out on top. And there's been a lot of talk. It's been building up a lot of hype. So it's going to be very, very
definitely,
cool.
definitely. Yeah. They're going to be playing different. Well, they're going to also have King of Fighters and Soul Calibur and Mortal Kombat, but they'll also have Ultimate Marvel vs. Capcom 3, Super Street Fighter 4, Arcade Edition version 2012, and Street Fighter Cross Tekken and Skullgirls. So it's going to be some games that we're not going to get to see at MLG. So if you do enjoy what you're watching at MLG, make sure that you also try to check out East Coast Throwdown.
Yep. Yeah, and I don't know, is there anything else you want to cover?
I think that's it. Please let us know if there's anything else that you'd like us to answer. You can send us tweets at UltraChenTV or send us emails at ultrachentv@gmail.com. Our normal show hours are Monday and Tuesday, 8 p.m. Pacific. And Monday we tend to start out with a show that you host called First Attack. That is for more intro, beginner sort of concepts.
Yep.
And then I have a show just after that called Level 3 Focus, which tends to be for more intermediate and advanced ideas and gameplay and analysis. And then on Tuesday at 8 p.m. we just have a sort of hodgepodge of whatever it is that we want to talk about.
Yeah.
This week we had on Gerald Abraham to talk about what things were like in 1991 through 1993 in the fighting game community, and it was amazing.
Yeah, really cool.
And other times we've broken down matches, gameplay.
Just talked about news in general.
Yeah, talk about matchups and characters and tier lists and all that kind of stuff. It's just a whole bunch of different things. Please tune in if you're interested.
And of course, you can regularly see us at Level Up's streams, Wednesday Night Fights, the Run Back. In fact, Wednesday Night Fights is running right now. If you want to check it out, please go to twitch.tv/leveluplive or leveluplive.com right now, or is it .tv?
Leveluplive.tv.
Leveluplive.tv. You can go there right now. They're probably going to be playing Street Fighter 4 or Street Fighter Cross Tekken right now, so you can go ahead and start watching some fighting game action, and then tomorrow we'll be at the Run Back to do some commentary on Marvel, and you'll be playing King of Fighters. I'll be playing Marvel over there.
Yep.
So check those out as well. And like I said, please go to Wednesday Night Fights right now and check that out to get some high level Street Fighter action.
Yeah, definitely. All right. Well, thanks for watching. I really appreciate everybody coming out, and I know this is a random time stream, but we'll be back at normal hours next week, Monday and Tuesday.
Yep.
Cool.
All right. Peace out, everybody.